Hey guys, welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. We're gonna head back to the Void Ship. I presume we're gonna get some dialogues. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, but I think we'll find out a bit more, especially about what Argenta was gonna tell us about her story, and then we'll get onto the level ups and go from there. Let's head. Okay, so where are we? Okay, yeah, that's the captain's quarters. Well, alright, we'll talk to Argenta. Let's see what she has to say.
Greetings.
I'm waiting for you to tell me about your past and to explain the strange words of that cultist on Footfall.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, Rogue Trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Alright, of course, let's go there right away. Argenta drops to her knees, her hands making the sign of the Aquila. Her eyes are locked on the sweeping signature on the warrant. Seemingly mundane thing, merely a flourish on a piece of paper. Unless one knows whose hand left that mark and whose blood is on that paper. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. If thou knowest a fall of mine, burn me with flames of fury and righteousness. But if thou seest a light in me, grace me. If thou hearest this plea of mine, bless me with wrath of fury and of righteousness. Argenta's voice is sonorous as if made for singing hymns and prayers, but right now she cannot seem to catch her breath, so overwhelmed with emotion is she. For I breathe by the will of thine, for I live by the law of thine. I carry thy word, O Emperor. I bring solace to servants of thine, and ruin to foes of thine, a fate of terror and righteousness. Upon finishing, she closes her eyes and remains silent for a long time with her head raised high. Slowly, like the first licks of flame in a campfire, a smile blossoms on her lips. When Argenta finally opens her eyes, they are alight with uncanny resolution. Rogue Trader, we need to talk, or rather, I need to tell you something. The truth. The truth about how I ended up on Theodora von Valancius's ship, and about the cultists we encountered on Footfall. I'm listening. Please understand, I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story and you'll see why. I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece everything together that way. Upon arriving in the Expanse and on Footfall, I found no purpose here, only torment. I wasn't needed, the reliquary I had been assigned to safeguard was already well protected by Reverend Hieronymus's mission, and no one was even trying to defile it for all its lawlessness. Footfall respects the worship of the Emperor. That was when Lady Theodora, head of your dynasty, appeared. She became an agent of divine will in a way, Argenta falters, searching for the words. It was from her that I learned about a planet recently discovered by her scouts, Salus Prime. For a rogue trader, the planet was of little interest, a feral world away from convenient warp routes. But for me, learning about its existence was a revelation. I've never even heard of such a planet. Does it belong to the von Valancius dynasty? Yes, now the planet is yours by right, but it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I will explain in due time. May I continue? Yes. The description of Salus Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from an ancient legend, the legend of Saint Argenta and her ship. Her voice grows reverent. Argenta, the living saint. She is my patroness. The order named me after her. She died millennia ago when heretics caused a ship to fall from the skies. But even those blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the One Star. For the fallen ship which now served as the resting place for the saints' remains would only allow the truly righteous to enter. All others would meet their death. Imagine what I felt when this flash of insight came upon me. The world where Saint Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend. No one knew its actual whereabouts. And suddenly I, myself named after the saint, came across this information. I realized at that moment that it was a portent that I must journey to the planet and find the ship. And so I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go for a time on a personal pilgrimage. I boarded Theodora's ship and demanded passage to the newly discovered planet Salus Prime. Why did you keep your supposition from Reverend Hieronymus? Surely he could have helped you with the search for the ship and the saints' remains. I couldn't just come out and tell him. It was a portent revealed to me personally, can't you see? I told Reverend Hieronymus the honest truth, that I was going on a personal pilgrimage to embolden my spirit. It really was a pilgrimage. It was as if Saint Argenta herself had shown me the way, commanding me to undertake this trial. If I had found the ship and set foot on its decks, if I laid my hand on her remains and the relic, it would have been a sign that I truly had been blessed with the saint's favor. It's your actions were driven by hubris. Not sure about that one. That's understandable. Searching for your destiny, for your place in the world, is a special matter, a personal one. You either succeed at it or you don't. That was irresponsible of you. If you'd gotten yourself killed on the planet, no one would have learned about its existence and the holy relic would have been lost. If you were the only one who realized what you were dealing with once the planet had been described to you, then this secret was yours and no one else's. As is the decision of what to do about it. Let's go with 2. Argenta looks at you somewhat surprised. I thought I had been called, that finding the ship was my destiny, my place in the world. Perhaps there is something to that. I imagine Theodora was thrilled with the prospect. Lady Theodora lent her assistance. It was her intention to visit the newly discovered world, and she took me with her. You mentioned something called the One Star. What is it? Apologies, I got so carried away I forgot to explain. The One Star is the relic kept by Saint Argenta. I belong to the Order Pronatus, and we attach particular significance to holy relics. The One Star is one of the lost relics of the past, so mysterious that no one even knows what it is exactly. Argenta's hagiography at times calls it a banner, or a set of armor, or a blessed chainsword. One thing is certain, it was a beacon of righteousness and it was lost with Argenta's death. What happened next? Defeat. Argenta says bitterly. The ship's augurs failed to detect anything of note during orbital scanning. I was expecting this though. According to the legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I know Saint Argenta's hagiography by heart. I know all the legends about her. I followed their obscure clues, the descriptions of mountains and rivers from millennia-old tales, and I was certain that I had found the way to the ship, and that's when we were attacked. The words we heard in the heretic shrine on footfall, something about ways, doors, please, addressed to some lord, the edge of daybreak. Argenta is shaking with disgust. They were the same words as those spoken by the cultists who attacked us on Salus Prime. My whole unit perished, all those honest brave people I had led to search for the relic. It was only by a miracle that I didn't perish along with them. I didn't connect these events at first, the cultists on footfall, the cultists on Salus Prime, the cultists attacking the ship, and Conrad's betrayal. What if these are all links in the same chain? What if they've long since infiltrated the ranks of the Von Valancius servants? What if I led those heretics to the sacred planet with my search. Sadly, the only one who might have all the answers escaped. Oh yes, and I sincerely hope that we will meet him again. That serpent needs to answer a few questions before he is plunged into cleansing flame. No need to blame yourself. If the heretics really had wormed their way into the Von Valancius ranks by then, they would have found the planet even without you going there. So how did you manage to escape from the cultists? Argenta hangs her head. Theodora's people received a distress call, came to my rescue and brought me aboard the ship. I barely remember what happened when they arrived. I was already severely wounded, fighting back with whatever remained of my strength. I think I shouted that we had to go after them, but they didn't listen. They took me to the shuttle and pulled out. After that, it's all blackness. When I came to, we were already in the middle of a warp jump. Theodora had urgent matters to take care of, and she decided that she could clear out the planet at a later time. And that's why you didn't trust me before, correct? Yes, Rogue Trader. I saw with my own eyes how a member of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the archenemy. I had already suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of cultists and was afraid of another betrayal. I couldn't be forthright with you, and so I studied you, looking for seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness. And what did you find? A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with me and helped eradicate the cultists on footfall. Argenta smiles as if reminiscing about a pleasant evening spent in the company of friends rather than a bloody battle. Although my opinion of you started to change even before then, back when you agreed to talk to the orphans at my request. A leader who's willing to honor those who laid down their lives for them and take care of their children is a leader who inspires trust, and the way you acted in that moment. Do you remember? There was a young man whose grief and confusion had driven him to insolence. You didn't turn a blind eye to his misdeed, but you chose the right words to show him the path to redemption. It was harsh but necessary, like the Emperor's truth, like bitter medicine that helps the sick. I learned much about you in that moment, Rogue Trader, and I want to believe that I wasn't mistaken in my judgment. So just to clarify, you were wounded, so you never found Saint Argenta's ship, is that right? Yes, I rushed to Theodora the moment I could walk again, and I insisted on going back to Salus Prime to defend the relic from the heretics. But I was told that the warp had destroyed the old route to the planet, and that plotting a new one would take a great deal of time and effort, as if there could be anything more important than protecting the faith and hunting down servants of the archenemy. In any event, the route was lost, and all knowledge of it died in the attack on the ship along with the old navigator. But now we have a new lead, the data that we collected in the cultist shrine on Footfall. I don't care what that reprobate we executed said, there must be a way to track them down. Tell me, Rogue Trader, will you help me in this undertaking? Will you help me find this great relic and return it to the people of the Imperium? There is nothing I wouldn't do to reclaim a sacred object for the people of the Imperium. If it's important to you, I will help. Searching for ancient ships and relics is an exciting prospect. Of course, I'll help you. If the accursed Final Dawn is involved again, it is my duty to help you. That cult must be reduced to ashes throughout the entire Coronis expanse. Yeah, let's go with that one. Argenta walks up and places her hand on your shoulder. So be it, Rogue Trader. As I stand here before the warrant, the embodiment of the Emperor's will marked by his own hand, I vow that I will not relent until the holy relic has been returned and the heretics punished. And may the light be with us both on this path. Okay. That is very interesting. I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't picked the quote-unquote correct dialogue choices at that orphan in little interlude or whatever it was. That's some quite interesting stuff. Also wonder what would happen if we go, instead of going iconoclast, if we go heretical. Wonder what Argenta thinks, but that might be something we'll do in the future. Maybe a second run through. For now, I think we will save it here, and let's take care of some level ups. Oops, wrong one. Okay. That was a bit confusing. I don't know what's going on now. I've already picked perfect opening. Okay, so there's actually not much here. We're just getting our alts. Fair enough. So that's fine. No crazy choices to make. What? The portrait's jumping is a bit confusing. Okay, now let's see if there's anything else we can pick up from the merchants. Drusians. Heavy bolter. 60 strength. Okay. Casbalica mission. Precise bolter. That's not the heavy bolter though. Okay. It's going to take a while to get to all this stuff. Imperial Navy. Austerius Thorfast. Oh, okay, so this is where we can get ship upgrades. Right, fair enough. Forgot that this guy does the ship upgrades. That's all fine. We need... What else is there? This needs profit factor 35. Chirurgeon's manual is a Medicae. Okay. Toby Patton plasma pistol. Portative manipulator. Using reload cost 1 AP. Precise las gun. Okay. I think for now we want to try to get to the heavy bolter because that will heavily improve Argenta's damage output. Although it does have a lot of recoil. But that should be fine. We'll have to try and get Argenta to the requisite strength requirements. 60. Before we can use it, obviously. But let's see what we can do here. We can get to 11,000. That puts us at level 3 reputation. We'll take everything here since we can. Can we get anything else? Are they all tapped out of range weaponry? Looks like it. Okay. They're all tapped out of range weaponry. What about Imperial Navy? They don't want anything that we have. Okay. Casbalica mission. 3,400 with range weaponry. And Mechanicus Creations. 200 for Mechanicus Creations. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Well, in that case... Stub carbine? That's all range weapons still. Actually, let's have a look at the gear we did pick up. We do have quite a lot of gear at the moment. The wearer gains plus 15% bonus to damage against enemies that dealt damage to them this round. Is that what? Saturated cape. immediate, well, in using Endure removes those damage over time effects, which could be still be handy to have. Might try Cloak of Retribution. Sanctified Staff. Can't really use that. Elite Chainsword. Thunderhammer. Power. Chain. 20. Okay. Parry. I think we already have a power weapon with the Thunderhammer, so let's use that. Sororitas Boots. The wearer raises momentum to 175 whenever they kill 5 enemies in a row in one turn. What does she have? Skirmisher Boots. Okay. Mazoa Pattern Hand Flamer. Mazoa Pattern Bolt Pistol. Let's give her a Hand Flamer. Anvor Chainsword. And Noble Sword. Okay. Stub Revolver. Militant's Cloak. The wearer's first melee attack in combat can't be parried or dodged. Zoa Pattern Bolt Pistol. Okay. I guess that's kind of it. Scrap Chainmail, let's put that all into cargo. Scrappy Autogun goes to cargo. M40 Autogun. Psyker's Footwear. Sword. That definitely goes to cargo. Chainsword, also to cargo. Mesh Chestplate, cargo. Scrappy Auto Pistol, definitely cargo. And I think for now that's it. Might deal with some of the cargo stuff myself off camera. Let's check our ship. Is that what we want? No, it's K. Can we upgrade? Upgrade hull with scrap. How do we hull repair? Okay, there we go. I was looking for hull repair, and that's how we repair it. It's fine. Upgrade ram. I'm not really into ramming at the moment, so let's upgrade the hull again. 201. That one is better. Okay, I think for now we'll save it again. And then we'll head off. Pretty sure we're done with most missions on Footfall. Right? This one, that's what we're going to be doing. Wait for the situation to resolve itself. Heinrichs to Kiava Gamma. Cold Trader who recently joined the Rogue Traders retinue. Oh, yes, that's right. Forgot. We have to go talk to Jay. Let's see what she has to say. She's obviously going to do some business-related stuff, trade-related stuff, so hopefully talking to her and doing some of her personal quests results in improvements to profit factor, which will allow us to get more of the gear that's sort of gated behind profit factor, and then hopefully because she trades in Xeno artifacts, we'll get some of those Xeno artifacts that'll let us improve reputation with other factions a bit more quickly. Those that want Xeno artifacts. Okay. Let's see what she has to say.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherin. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherin. I will watch your back if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there some... you wanted?
You don't look like a typical smuggler.
No truer words have ever been said. I'm far more exciting than some small-time peddlers from Footfall. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Jai Amira Fatqin Tamiri Ash Ifrit, the 12th daughter of the Lord of Ifrit, a distant world at the fringes of the Imperium. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago.
Why did you choose to come to the Coronis Expanse?
The Coronis Expanse. A gorgeous name, isn't it? But this backwater wasn't my original destination when I escaped, Sherin. Oh no, it was the rumors of incredible freedom that brought me to the Coronis Expanse. Freedom that is generously bestowed upon everyone who can survive in these parts. All doors are open here. You can become a saint, a mogul, a kingmaker, or anyone you like, really. Here, hard work pays off. Unless you're used to lying by the roadside and complaining instead of toiling for the good of your soul, glory, wallet, or whatever floats your boat. I'm used to working hard, and so I found my blessing.
How did you escape from Ifrit?
I convinced my father I personally wished to oversee the inspection of imported goods. I had to get experience so I wouldn't bring shame on our family, didn't I? I made friends with traders, missionaries, and soldiers at the port. I listened to their stories, studied the charts, learned what documents I had to forge to escape the planet. A kind word here, a shiny coin there. And here I am, in the iron belly of a ship, braving the void in search of a new life.
Judging by your implants, you've had quite a few close shaves over the years.
Consider it a mark of my trade. This year, Xenos. Dumb-headed orcs. Who knew that we weren't the only ones to get tempted by the wreck of that raider? As for this treasure, I received it as a reward for a life that had been just a little too good. I was in a hurry to get to the Adeptus Amasacus after the Exalted One blessed me with immense wealth. I was 2 backstreets away from the den when a pathetic Ashmag attacked me, envious of somebody else's fortune.
You are familiar with implants like the one that has replaced Jay's neck. It is merely one part of a massive augmentation replacing the internal organs. A slit throat could not have been the cause for installing such a sophisticated device. Very interesting.
All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too.
Was there some business you wish to discuss?
Oh, Sherin, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.
Okay.
May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored with our little talk, Sherin?
Tell me of a background again. I've seen enough of this, of the shiny wrapping of the Coronis Expanse. Tell me about its dark side. Where's this supposed business stuff that we're meant to be talking about, though? Tell me about your business in the Coronis Expanse.
My trade means knowing the right people and non-people. Having the right connections and making sure the precious goods find their way into the hands of my no less precious customers. My wisdom includes the knowledge of the enemies of humankind, be they Xenos or the lowest scum of the Imperium, as well as the latest knowledge about how they charge for any particular curio at the footfall market. Not even the most cunning Argenta will deceive you as long as I am with you, Shireen. I promise you that. Whatever I have can be yours too, if your unfathomable wealth isn't enough for you already, I mean.
You could be sitting back reaping the fruits of your own work, so why have you chosen to embrace the vicissitudes of life aboard a void ship?
You're fun to talk. I grew tired of scribing endless contracts and agreements neatly tucked away on footfall. Well, I did that for how many years? But here, among the stars, you are always balanced on a knife edge. Nothing thrills me more than the tension of a warp jump, or the danger that lurks around every corner on a planet. Footfall was beginning to make me fat and stupid, Shireen. I do not want that.
Jay speaks measuredly with just the right amount of laziness in her voice, but her performance cannot conceal the slight tremble in her voice. Whatever Jay's afraid of, that is what drove her off footfall. You do business with the enemies of humanity.
It has been known to happen. After years of dealing with Xenos, I've learned their customs, and even got a grasp of their language. Except they cringe whenever I start speaking. Arrogant sods. They dislike even our voices, but they never turn away our valuables. Then again, I'm used to seeing sour faces. In this trade, the easily offended go out of business.
The things we do for profit and gain, right?
Emperor be praised. You took the words right out of my mouth.
You have many talents.
Thank you, Shireen. Being able to read and write is chief among them. You may not be aware, but this science is beyond the abilities of billions of the Imperium subjects. And yet they happily keep drudging along in their factories, fundi, and assembly lines. Me? I didn't escape Ifrit to consign myself to such misery. It was literacy that paved my path to copied orders, forged signatures, counterfeited papers. The wonderful things that make the wheels of bureaucracy turn in the right direction. Compared to the rabble on footfall, perhaps. Compared to you, be it power or money, I still have a long way to go. I could purchase one of Footfall's asteroids, but not a planet. I could subjugate a few gangs from the shady districts, but not Vladium. And so the answer to your question is no. I do not consider myself rich. I am not rich enough.
What about your gang that stayed back at Footfall? Do you trust them?
Do I trust the Trickster twins? By the Exalted One, no. The underhanded rogues of Footfall came up with that name for a reason. The tricks of those frenzied ashmags are all about things far more intriguing than the honest and law-abiding subjects of the Imperium can imagine. On the other hand, this is why I am keeping them close. Kor and Tora know who lifted them out of the cesspit proudly called the Shadow Quarters, and who has been feeding that ravenous beast their insatiable lust for lucre. No, they are not going to betray me if only because they know I am now a part of your entourage, Shireen. They're not going to let the biggest pie in the Imperium pass them by without trying to get a slice for themselves.
Tell me about the Xenos of the Coronis Expanse.
Vicious, cruel, dangerous beasts. Humans hold little interest for Xenos. We are entertainment for them, a means to keep boredom at bay. A commodity. But some of them contact us once in a while using their own people. Do not deceive yourself by thinking you are safe because there are no Xenos in sight. Those Agi are as cunning as they are ruthless. They cleverly pull at the strings of spies and traitors, subjugate those who do not fall for the promised reward, transform the ones who resist their promises into soulless puppets. The Emperor watches over me, and that is why I still haven't succumbed to the fate of many of my associates who have lost their lives to the stringy scoundrels.
Let's talk about something else.
I think we've said all there is to say on this topic.
I've seen enough of the shiny wrapping of the Coronis Expanse. Tell me about its dark side.
The dark side is the real Coronis Expanse, if you ask me. But what do you want to know about it, Shireen?
How do they do things of footfall?
Dynasties drink with criminals. Rogue traders strike deals with the Casbalica. And dozens of ships stop off for a welcome break from a long voyage. Is there a more beautiful place in the entire Imperium? The Emperor is merciful to the meek and the powerful alike. There's a job for everyone as long as they have a head on their shoulders. And if you feel like talking to him in person, the statue of the Exalted One can be seen from any asteroid. You can pray to your heart's content.
What about the Casbalica mission?
An ancient crime cartel that originated with the first settlers of the Calixis sector. It is run by shadowy clans with robber barons at the helm. Cross their path, and you risk making enemies all over the Coronis Expanse, or even the entire Imperium. As for the agents, they are just shameless, greedy scum. Every third person on Footfall is a Casbalican. But that doesn't mean all that rotten filth is acting together. I've been set up more than once just so some Casbalican can get one over on his rivals. And yet, the Casbalica is generous to its customers, if you can afford it. Anything can be obtained, organized, and transported for the right price. The customer is always right, unless they happen to be a rat. In which case...
Scum, rotten filth, rats. It's almost as if Jay's mask briefly slipped and she started using words that have no place in the vocabulary of someone from the upper strata of the Imperium. Are you one of the robber barons?
What gave you such an outrageous idea? Was it my immaculate garment? My gorgeous jewelry? Do not worry, Shireen. I will let you know once I become a baroness, should the Exalted One will it. Just imagine the strong and fruitful alliance that could be forged between a rogue trader and the mastermind of the Casbalica.
How did you become an agent?
It's not hard to do on Footfall. I spent a year working for good old Christo. He was a brave soldier who gave up the ghost in a scuffle with orcs, and then took over his business. Having a good head on your shoulders and keeping the Exalted One in your heart helps to establish new contacts quickly. Eventually, I gathered together a group of honest and loyal people, and it only took a few successful contracts for the Casbalica to take notice. I quickly settled on Footfall and started dispensing my wisdom to my protégés and subordinates. I lost the taste for getting my hands dirty.
Tell me about the cold trade.
It really is simple, Shireen. The Casbalica runs the Imperium's black market, offering special goods to those who can afford their services. Yes, I am talking about Xeno artifacts too. Alien weapons, technology, sometimes even certain kinds of living creatures. Unlike the rogue traders whose sacred warrants make them immune even from the laws of the Exalted One, Casbalican agents are used to hiding and covering their tracks. Nobody wants to draw unwanted attention, no matter who might take an interest. Especially now that the Coronis Expanse has a warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman.
Let's change the subject.
Why not? The decision is yours, Shireen.
I'll see you later.
Oh, I have no doubt you will.
What's going on? The flickering light of dozens of candles plays across Jay's face, making a small smile appear even more mysterious. Shireen, the Exalted One himself, brought us together the day you crossed the Dame's threshold. He led us to the cargo and gave his blessing for its return. Do you know what people on my world say when such a thing happens? What's gained is to be shared with your neighbor. She points at the containers in front of her. One contains a polished Eldari rifle, a rare model, and the other holds an ornate sword. I am sharing what I've gained with you. Please accept these humble gifts in honor of our wildly successful though suddenly struck friendship. Okay. What is it you wanted? A truly wonderful gift. I accept it with gratitude. I knew you would appreciate the Xeno's mastery of their craft. Jay beams at you, curling a lock of black hair around an augmented finger. So, the matter I wanted to discuss with you is related to my business. You know that I sell Xeno artifacts to interested Imperial subjects and Imperial trinkets to Xenos. Business is going well, my network runs even without my participation, but when it comes to expansion, well, that is where I hit a wall. Rivals envious of my success, Falco especially. I am certain the theft of the cargo was his doing, but I can never predict what that Ashmag will do next. And while the Imperium's authority may be fragmented in the expanse, it could crack down on people of my profession at any moment. Go on. If the rogue trader put in a good word for me with the servants of the Adeptus Administratum, I could become an official trade representative of the Imperium. Just imagine. A little scrap of paper will offer me and my agent protection against Ashmag schemes far better than any refractor field. And even the Inquisition will have to think twice before they mess with me because I'll be a representative of the law in my own right. And the best part of it all is that this will cost you precisely nothing, Shireen. All you have to do is stop by the Administratum Palace and obtain a certificate from the Master of Seals. My informants tell me that the palace is located on Dargonus, your capital world. You see how everything has aligned so wonderfully, and of course I will repay you in kind. How do I benefit from your gaining official status? Besides being in receipt of my eternal gratitude, Shireen, won't it be beneficial to have someone in your retinue with the weight of authority behind them rather than just another pawn? One slip of paper and I will be able to extend my network to systems far beyond footfall. My agents will be your eyes and ears throughout the expanse. That sounds simple enough. I will help you. Exalted One bless you, Shireen. I couldn't find a better business partner in all the expanse. Friendship is a gift from the Exalted One and we must cherish it. And you will have no complaints about our friendship, Shireen. I may not be a trade representative of the Imperium just yet, but I can still help you with whatever you need. You must have some faction in mind that you would like to establish relations with. The severe Drusians, the hot-headed pirates of the Kazbalika. You merely need to use the right words like a key for a lock, and people will open their hearts to you or their wallets. I will arrange everything. You merely have to ask. Okay. She is with the Kazbalikans. Develop friendly relations with the Drusians. Let's go with the Drusians. Not a problem, Shireen. I will have my people put in a good word for you in the right circles. 2,000. That's quite a bit. I will humbly wait until you steer your vessel towards Dargonus, the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. It sounds almost as majestic as the warrant of trade. Alright. That was cool. Let's see, is there any loot here? Yeah, this is just the stuff that I picked up. So let's drop some of this stuff in there. Don't need that. Okay. Don't know why that wasn't going in. Can I not put that? Yeah, I can. Phantom Cloak against warp damage. Modified las gun. Okay. You know what? Actually, I'll clean up everything here on off camera instead of wasting time here. For now, let's head to the Void Ship Bridge and start traveling again. Okay. Let's go to the Coronis Expanse map. And we can head off. Since we have to go to Dargonus to help Jay, We need to go to Dargonis to get a few things done as it is anyway, so that's fine. Button Twins, Cradle of Kepri, Omicron, Trinitas, System Speculo. This is where we need to go for Janus. Okay, let's save it here. I guess we're going to Trinitas. Route unsafe or safe? Okay, we made it safe. Reduce route difficulty, radio. Anyways, let's warp travel. Lord Captain, I hasten to report the disturbing news brought to me by the machine spirits of the ship. Matter is extremely delicate and concerns Lady Cassia. You see, since her first day aboard, her presence has been a disturbance to the crew's way of life. If you'll allow, I've prepared a detailed report. Deliver it. The first incident occurred immediately after our departure from Urak 5. The Lady Navigator chastised one of the ship's runners, after which he went to his living quarters, killed his family, and then shot himself. The second incident was noted while traversing the warp. The Lady Navigator gave the pilots the wrong instructions, and the void ship was thrown off course for a matter of minutes, but this was enough for the forces of the Immaterium to anger the machine spirits enough for them to start a fire in the service bay. After that, officers living near the Lady Navigator's quarters began to express extreme emotions, hysteria, apathy, euphoria, rage. This is quite detrimental to crew morale and performance. The last incident was recorded on Footfall. Around 100 living birds were delivered on board during our stay on Footfall. Each bird cost a hefty sum, but I have failed to discover their purpose and subsequent fate. I was also told about a conflict between the Lady Navigator and the Seneschal. Alas, with no detail. If you like, you can ask Master Viserion directly. Things are even worse with Jay Hedari. I intercepted a voxcast in which she promised she would, and I quote, end that Cassia if she ever saw her again. If I may, Lord Captain, the Lady Navigator's state of mind worries me. She's self-contained and does not mesh with the crew at all, which is why everyone avoids her. Even senior officers can be superstitious. I fear that only you are in a position to talk to her on an equal footing and improve the situation, for the sake of the crew's safety and that of Lady Cassia herself. Okay. Let's visit. Unknown ships. Okay. Well, in this case, let's go back to the bridge and have a chat with Cassia and see how that goes. And then we might end the episode here. Not sure how long this will take. I might also check to see if there are any other quests to do on the void ship. I do remember that we had to investigate some stuff, so I don't know if I investigated everything properly. But that's something we might also have to do. And then we'll probably end the episode there. While there wasn't too much action in the way of combat this time around, we did get a lot of interesting information, so that's been pretty good, progressing the story a bit more.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
I've heard rumors that you are not getting along well with the crew. Panic flashes in her ruby red eyes and your heart starts beating a little faster while your hands go cold.
Not here. I'm begging you. Aren't noblemen supposed to discuss such things away from the servants?
Let's go to my study. No one will disturb us there.
Then lead the way.
What is it you wanted to talk about, Lord Captain? I have nothing to say to your unfounded accusations about my conflicts with the crew. I cannot recall my having a single quarrel with any of your people during my time on board. The messenger you rebuked butchered his own family, then killed himself. I haven't rebuked a single errand boy on this ship. I think I remember. A kind young man with a shy smile, skillful fingers, with too much rotten ochre on his shoulders. I grew tired of the disgusting color and advised him to lighten his burden by casting the weight off his shoulders. He did not come the next day or ever again. During the warp voyage, you gave the wrong orders, which led to the vessel shifting off course and the service bay being destroyed. I saw something in the warp, something vast, predatory, shimmering with indescribable colors. It came from nowhere and stared at the ship with hundreds of hungry eyes right there in our path. I decided to change the course while it was still possible, but did not want to sow panic. Would it have been better to tell the crew we were heading straight into a monster's gaping maw? The officers are reluctant to be quartered next to your chambers because of the constant emotional outbursts it causes them. Some even maim themselves and others. I already told you I cannot control my abilities. What else do you want from me? Will I be assigned a pariah chaperone, or will you put me in suppressing shackles? Would you mind telling me why you needed 100 species of bird and what you use them for? Admittedly, I am at a loss myself. The day we arrived on Footfall, I sent a request to the ship's quartermaster and asked him to get me a songbird, but he never asked for clarification, and shortly before we left, I had a countless number of cages delivered to me, all wrapped in bright red panic with flickering tints of fear. There was a bird in every one. I was so excited I thought I would have 100 friends instead of just one. They were squeaking so piteously I let the poor things out. I even fed them my breakfast and dinner, but the stupid birds would not stop chittering even after bedtime. They were dashing about the room, smacking me in the face with their wings and defecating. I became angry, and suddenly they started pecking at each other's eyes and attacking me. Then I became afraid and they fell over dead. I do not think I want to keep pets anymore. Will you share your thoughts with me? Woes dog your steps, but we'll find a way. Everyone who has dared to slander you will be punished. There is nothing reprehensible about your actions. You have done terrible things, but I will not presume to lecture a person of noble blood. You have a kind soul, but have difficulty reaching out to people. I will teach you the art of communication if you like. I think that's the best option. That would be wonderful. My education on Urak 5 was cut short, but I had realized by then that the wisdom of books is a poor substitute for the wisdom of experience. Burial, since we are done with this misunderstanding, I would like to change the subject. It would only be fair for me to ask you a few questions now, wouldn't it? Cassia hesitates and continues in a less confident tone. Do not mistake me. I'm not going to accuse you of anything. It's just that you are the most worthy interlocutor on the entire ship, and you are always so busy. What would you like to ask? I read a treatise by Paisius de Mobius very recently who claimed that subjects would never believe their new ruler was better than the old one unless the old one had been a tyrant. No matter the circumstances, the low-born rabble become deluded about their prospects and rebel in favor of their base desires. What do you make of that? Persuasion. Okay. Your interpretation of this classical text is not entirely correct. If the subjects have grown accustomed to the ruling house, all the sovereign must do is refrain from breaching long-standing traditions. Adjust unwanted laws as gradually as you would shift the bed of a flooded river, and no one will ever take your power from you. On the contrary, the loyalty of subjects can be bought at a pittance. Lower a tax, throw them a festival, or feed the needy. A gracious gesture once every cycle will exalt you in the eyes of the rabble as if it were his own blessing. It has always been my opinion that subjects expect two things from their sovereign: to abuse power and to bless their babies. Succeed at both, and boring essays become unnecessary. Let's go with the Law Imperium one. Cassia thinks for a moment and then smiles. Indeed, I was not wrong about your merits or your ability to hold a conversation. I hope my second question does not confound you either. According to the 20 tomes penned by the preacher Oistak Istefan the Forgotten, mercy and cruelty go through the world hand in hand, but people flock only to one pan of the scales. Would you rather inspire fear in your followers or be magnanimous and choose awe? I'm not afraid of acquiring a reputation for ruthlessness. I would rather crush a rebellion than condone one. Is that not the greater mercy in the end? I will exercise restraint and lenience in my actions. Excessive suspicion and mistrust harden the hearts of the people and turn them against each other. One must be a tyrant, a friend, and a jester to one's subjects. What matters is that to clearly discern which role is required at a given moment. 35, 40, Fellowship 70. I think that's the one I would have picked anyway. So let's go with that. Failed. You are saying strange things. I do not understand how you can even... A jester? Stuff and nonsense. Not convinced then, eh? Can I not see the roll? Okay, there we go. 84. Okay. We may not think alike and I do not always understand your motives, and yet, may I be candid with you? Please do continue. I must confess that sometimes I can hardly bear the burden the house has placed upon me. I feel I am not doing my best. Tell me how you, heir to a protectorate, can bear the responsibility for billions of lives day after day and not stoop under all the weight. It is my duty, whether I like it or not, that this inner turmoil is clouding your mind. My protectorate, my subjects, my title are mere resources that I am using solely for my own ends. It is not always easy, but I try to lead the dynasty toward prosperity by worthy means. Let's choose that one. Thank you for your patience, Stu. You are helping me to see the world in different colors. A novel experience for me. Our conversations hold a special place in my heart. Allow me to bid you farewell for now. I am heading back to my chambers to consider today's conversation. That's some more interesting stuff. Okay. Trade Protectorate quest. Okay, establish a new colony. That's fine. Authorize the databank decryption on the personal cogitator. Visit the Forgotten Twin Star System. Okay. Right. Let's try and find the databank cogitator on the bridge, and then we'll end the episode there. Where is that thing anyway? Not down here. Is this it? The reflections of the bridge lights are playing on the unlit vid screens of the cogitator. Next to the machine stands a hunched tech priest who bows as you approach, his body nearly folding in half. Lord Captain, the machine spirit of this mechanism slumbers. Should you wish to awaken it, use the key of your blood. Who are you and what is your purpose here? My designation is IH-630. The venerated Argenta Prime has entrusted the sacred mechanism to my care. It is now my duty to assist in the rogue trader's understandings of the hallowed code. Okay. Place your hand inside the servitor's maw. The servitor's powerful jaws close around your hand with a screeching clack. You feel the cold metal pierce your skin and draw blood. The vid screens in front of you flicker restlessly, filling with numerical combinations. The sacred mechanism is awake and ready to receive your request, Lord Captain. Pascal has informed me that the system has encrypted data stored inside. I wish to know its contents. Without another word, the tech priest turns to the cogitator. He raises his hand and a prayer of binaric code pours out of his Vox device. The servo motors in the bowels of the machine grow louder, its undulating hum responding to his chant numerical combinations run down the screens. Scanning, scanning, scanning. OS, okay. The machine spirit has discovered numerous critical errors. The data is damaged. The tech priest stops abruptly and the green glow of his visor narrows. Registering an intact segment. The machine spirit has spoken. The worlds of Kiava Gamma and Dargonus hold certain data repositories. The mechanism is ready to provide the rogue trader with data keys that can unlock said repositories. What data repositories? That remains hidden. The encrypted databank belonged to the esteemed Theodora von Valancius. She was the only one who could have known about these repositories. Perhaps the former Argenta Prime could also could have known. Omnissiah accept his code. If I were to propose a hypothesis, it would be most prudent of a figure as eminent as a rogue trader to store her classified data in receptacles most secure. How do I accept these keys? Okay. The gracious machine spirit is willing to transfer the data keys to the head of House von Valancius by means of an electu, a hypodermic tattoo augment. If you are ready to accept the keys, place your hand inside the servitor's mouth. Deep within the servitor's dark gullet, unseen burning hot needles pierce your wrist, but sharp pain only lasts a moment. The electu that has been planted inside your wrist should be enough to open the repository doors. I need to know more about the caches. Input. Okay. The Omnissiah favors you. The machine spirit is willing to commence the calculation procedure that could restore the lost data. Restore the data on the cache located on Dargonus. The machine hums louder until it lets out a resounding crackle. Then the sound stops, and an unmoving numerical combination lights up on the screen. The tech priest's synthesized voice sounds almost concerned. The data has been restored, but it is only a single phrase. Litanies of the motive force. That is all the sacred mechanism was able to salvage. What about one on Kiava Gamma? The servo motors within the cogitator pick up pace, their heavy thrum growing louder. The machine clicks abrasively for several minutes until eventually a numerical code appears on the screen. Blessed are the Omnissiah's deeds. The repository on Kiava Gamma has a security system guarding it. The machine spirit has recovered a code that will allow you to disable the defenses. Okay. Have the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus been able to discern how the ship was able to start her warp engine? The Argenta Prime spends hours pursuing the quest for knowledge in the hopes of comprehending the nature of said miracle. May the Omnissiah's grace guide him on this journey. Okay, there is no doubt that it was a miracle sent by the Omnissiah as a manifestation of his will. Yet the Argenta Prime managed to perceive some logical connection within the streams of data. I am not privy to this connection, but the Argenta Prime will surely share the newly discovered knowledge with you in a detailed report. Okay, so I think we dealt with that. So now we have to find the caches on Kiava Gamma and Dargonus. And then obviously this is the one where I have to go to Dargonus to help out Jay. Secrets of the Cult. Bring Heinrich to Kiava Gamma. Restore the operation of the administrative apparatus on Dargonus. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And I think we'll end the episode here. Found out a lot about Argenta, about Cassia. Got some quests from Jay, which should be helpful for us in the future. And we've dealt with this cogitator thing here. So we've now got a lot of quests to do in Dargonus, Kiava Gamma, Janus. So I think things are starting to roll on now that we've done pretty much what we can on Footfall. So things are going to get more interesting now as well, I think. So Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll keep going in the next episode. See you then.